Yo, what is up?
Morning.
Morning. Hmm.
What's going on, Trot? Oh
Right?
my God, bro! Somebody has a huge whistle, bro. I don't know what the heck that was.
Oh, it was my hearing aid.
Holy smokes! Blew my eardrum out. How's everybody doing?
Amazing.
Hey, mute real quick, big mute for just a second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, you got like a really loud I don't know what it's not really like background noise. It's just
It's a
like a lot of
radio,
like
I'm
like a
next to a
radio signal.
I'm next to a refrigerator.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Bill, what's going on, big dog? How you doing?
Good, man. Thank God. I thought it was me because every time I put my phone on the charger, it goes crazy.
Mm.
See it now.
Yeah, see, Freddie said it too, man. Somebody just blessing my ears, bro. What the heck is going on?
Ray, you got like two bars, two red bars up. Could be your connection, your area.
Yeah, no, 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 no. It's somebody's background noise.
Yeah. Try Ryan. Ryan, try it again.
I don't know what the heck it was.
There, I'm unmuted. Do you hear anything or what? All right.
Yeah, that's good. 9 months, man. Had my first house opening this weekend, man. Had like 5 people come through. So just
Yeah, did you play any music in the background?
no, I wasn't there.
You should. You would have had more people show up, man. You should have played it.
I had the realtor set everything up. She comes in, she set everything up. We had to leave for like
You're selling your house, Bill?
12 to 3. Yeah, brother.
Hey, you should
Where are you moving to?
uh,
Um,
oh, go ahead.
Texas. No. I'm staying out here, brother.
Ah, that's funny, bro.
I'm,
Hey, Trot, you see the 49ers lost to the Browns, but
Oh
you guys
yeah,
couldn't beat
Bubba.
them. I don't know what the heck that was all about.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. That's why I
McCaffrey
said.
wasn't
That's why.
playing, bro.
That's why Ryan. That's why Ryan said they're not going to beat the 49ers. Like Bubba. Out of all the people to beat the 49ers, Bubba, it's either going to be the Browns or the Cowboys. And guess what? The Browns did it.
Them Jets last night, though.
McCaffrey was out, and I've been saying, dude, you take McCaffrey out of that offense, bro. No, hey, dude, they ain't gonna win, dude. They're not. You take McCaffrey
No, he
out,
plays a
and
big
that whole
part.
offense is gone.
Yeah, yeah, he plays a big part. Big part.
The
He
Eagles
also
lost to the Jets, bro. How embarrassing. How embarrassing.
Yeah, man. They also
Yeah.
lost a big time offensive lineman too. 49ers lost a big offensive lineman also. So
I don't know why
there's a
y'all
lot
talking
that
about
goes.
NFL. I'm still upset. I'm still upset that Deion Sanders team lost, bro. I can't believe that. They should have been 5-2.
Yep,
Can you
that's
believe that, bro?
terrible,
They would have
bro.
been
That was a
5-2,
bad
bro.
loss, bro.
That
That was
was
a
That
bad
was
rough.
loss
so
at
bad.
home. Yeah,
You know what I think happened?
he
Listen,
was
let
hot,
me
bro.
mix it here. Oh, I was hot. I'm not even playing, nor am I the coach. And I'm hot. Listen, let me tell you. No joke, bro. Let me tell you, bro. This is 100%. This right here is all me, bro. I didn't hear this from nobody. I'm not saying it's 100% true. This is just me. I'm telling you, this is my opinion. I believe that a lot of coaches in the uh, college, the NCAA, okay, I believe there's a lot of coaches are straight up hating on Dion right now. And I believe it started with Oregon. I believe the Oregon, they had nobody had any footage of this team. None. Nobody did. And I believe that's why they beat TCU the way they did, because they're actually a good team, but they don't have any footage. And let me say this real quick. Have y'all watched UFC? Did y'all ever at one point ever get into UFC when it was a big deal?
All back with stuck with that, bro, the Iceman.
Yeah, okay. All right. So look,
I'm still into
when
it.
it comes to anything, any kind of sport, okay, even though UFC is the closest you'll ever get to a real fight, it's the closest. Of course you can't. UFC on Blockbuster Video, yeah, bro. Praise God, you talking about Tank the Abbott, Bubba? What you know about some Tank? Tank is some Hoist Gracie. Anyway, yeah, he's bringing up the real ones, the big time. Okay, but see, these guys used to watch. See, like if you were to go to Thailand, a lot of them don't have, especially in the 80s and 90s, bro. There was nobody filming these fights, and there's some guys in Thailand that like 100 wins, like 100-0, and nobody could beat these guys. Now, the other side of that is, oh, well, they couldn't beat them because, they were just that good and they're masters. But if you were to bring them and start moving them around the world, eventually you're going to find someone to beat them, right? But the point I'm making is the reason why in those days, and of course the 30s and the 20s, nobody got no camera, no Thailand in the 20s, but these guys are having just destroying everybody, and if nobody can figure out how to beat them, that's because you had to show up to every fight, pay very close attention, and your memory, it better be on point, because that's the only way you're going to be able to see how to beat this guy. Well, in this day and age, we're a little lazy. We get to cheat. We just get footage, and if you're a decent fighter, you could study whoever you're about to fight. You could study your opponent. You can figure out, oh, okay, he's weak here, so because of that, I'm going to become strong here. And so I don't know if you know who Matt Hughes and George St. Pierre is. Matt Hughes, George St. Pierre.
Baby, GSP.
Yeah. George St. Pierre, when he started getting deep into fighting, he looked up to Matt Hughes. That was like his guy. And he's about the same. He's the same body weight, basically. And so George St. Pierre started becoming very good in his skills, where he went head to head with Matt Hughes. And he even said, he goes, man, I can't believe the guy I used to look up to, this is the guy I'm fighting. And he beat him. He beat Matt Hughes. But he beat Matt Hughes because he knew him so well. That's why he beat him, not because he's just so amazing, which, by the way, George St. Pierre is an amazing fighter, period.
He's one of the best, if not the best.
Yeah, bro.
To watch.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the best. But the point I'm making is it makes it real easy when you just have footage that you can study all day. Well, guess what? NCAA, Bubba, they had no footage of this team. They had no footage of this team whatsoever. So they come out against TCU. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But Dion proved that his team was amazing, bro. Period. The end. Now they got footage. And I'm going to keep saying this throughout the whole until this whole season is done. But they have studied this team to the T, and I believe it started with Oregon. So after they played TCU, the second game, the second team that they played, Bubba, they only had footage of that one game that they played against TCU. But when it got to Oregon, Bubba, I'm putting money on it that Oregon studied that so much that they went to every player and said, listen, we are going to beat this team, and this is how we're going to do it. But they had footage. I believe that if Deion Sanders' team played Oregon the very first game, I believe they would have smashed them. Period. That's what I'm going to say.
I think they put too much responsibility on Travis Hunter too. I don't think he's missed 4 or 5 weeks. So I don't think he's 100% either. They put too much on him, bro. They should have kept the them rookies in there was doing their thing for the past couple of weeks, and he should have played them more and eased Travis back in,
Yeah.
even though
Well,
he
no,
was cold blooded
no,
still.
no. Don't get me
Stop.
wrong. Don't get me wrong. I know that Hunter's not there. I know that there's a couple of team issues that they're having right now. I get that, bro. I'm just saying. I think this is the whole point that I'm getting to. And again, this is just me saying this. I believe that the Oregon coach and a bunch of others are passing along these cheat sheets on how to beat Deion Sanders' team. This is just my personal opinion. I believe there's a personal vendetta. I don't believe it has anything to do with Deion being black or none of that. So all y'all can kick rocks on that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that prime time, no matter what, he will always be prime. Period.
Bro,
What?
them boys put a lot of pressure on themselves, and they gotta stand on it, and they're good with it. Dion and his boys, they're good with it. You got to remember, his son is worth millions of dollars, bro, in NIL deals. Both of them got NIL deals for millions and millions of dollars. Not to mention Coach Prime. They were criticizing him because he branded "Play My Theme." He copyrighted "Play My Theme" music. he copyrighted
Yeah.
that, and he copyrighted like prime time on his gear in Colorado. And people are like, why would he do that? And some people are real salty about that. Some of the coaches are salty about that because they don't have the clout that
Oh
Dion
yeah.
does. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I want to wear a prime time.
No, that's what
I don't want to
that's
wear.
what I mean.
Stop, boy.
Yeah, and that's what I mean,
Sorry.
bro. Like, prime will always be prime, dude. And so here he comes in here, prime time, and so the only thing they can say about him is, oh, well, he was Mr. NFL, but he is not Mr. NCAA, you know. And so, bro, from day one, you know, they weren't just saying, hey, I'm not sure this is gonna work out. No. They were like, this
No
ain't
jumping.
gonna work out.
No.
Do what?
Honestly, it already has worked out. I mean, he's done better than the team last year.
Yes.
I mean, it's already a success, 100%.
It's already a success, bro. He took it from 1 to 4, so it ain't like he just won 2 and was like, oh, I did better. He should have won
games
5
this season than he won in the past 3 seasons, bro. The past 3 seasons, I don't think Colorado won 5 games, bro.
Yeah, well, you're probably not wrong. That it was very low. The numbers are very low, like extremely low. So, but last game that they or the last game they played that they got beat. You know, they're winning 29-0 at halftime, and this is what I'm at. I really believe that coach or somebody got a phone call and say, hey, I didn't want to give you these notes too soon. But check this out. And then they just started slaughtering them, bro. I'm sorry. I apologize that I see it that way. But you're not going to tell me that team all of a sudden, no, not like that, bro. I believe they got a phone call, and I believe that the coach that's on
Stanford is trash too.
what's the mascot? Yeah, but what's Stanford's mascot?
Oh, I don't know.
What do you mean? What, the football team? Anyway, okay. Well,
it's a tree.
I think
there's
they're
a
the
bunch
Cardinals.
of trees on there.
They're the Cardinals, aren't they?
Yeah, they're Cardinals. They're Cardinals. Yeah, I was gonna say the trees, but so the Cardinals. I mean, no offense to that coach, but obviously he didn't pay enough attention to the video, bro. And I hate to say it, man. I really think that there's teams out there that they are going to be giving all their 2 cents about Deion's team. I think they're going to be passing this cheat sheet along to every team. Every game that they play, I don't believe there's only 1 or 2 coaches dissecting the games. I believe it's multiple, bro. A couple of dozen even that are sitting there dissecting it and just can't wait to find another flaw for the next team. I don't believe it's just 1 or 2 or 5 coaches on the team that's doing this, bro. I believe it's multiple. I'm sorry, man. That's just me, because 29-0 and they come back and beat them like that. Nah. I mean, look, I know I've seen it in college before. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me. Look at how that one coach, it might have been the Oregon coach, kept saying things like, this Cinderella story stops today. This Cinderella story, bro. Like, when you start making up names like that for the coach and the team, Bro, that's straight up hate talk. Like, I never heard anybody hating on Cinderella, bro. I ain't never heard anybody hate on Cinderella. And all of a sudden, we're going to talk like that, bro. This Cinderella story stops today. Yeah.
Try.
So, well, I'll give
Try.
props. Yeah. So,
See, just say Trot and his conspiracy theories.
yeah. Like I said, I don't have any conspiracy theories, like overall. I really don't have any. That's why I said this is just me on this very particular thing. It's just going to be hard for me to believe that this team came back and, made 19 points, in one, quarter, and they couldn't make 1 point in the past two. Look, I've seen miracles before. They happen, so I'm not dogging that. But the method that they are using, I believe, and I'm sorry, this is me, man, I believe they got a cheat sheet. All of them, a bunch of teams. Hey, this player, this is where I believe it's down to each player too, not just the teams, but down to each player. And they're figuring out the quarterback. I'm telling you, watch the games now, the past couple of games, but they're figuring that quarterback out. So, but anyway, that's neither here or there. Just, now they're going to have to win 2 back-to-back to even bring back their name, bro. Like, that's another thing. And I don't even know. Oh, here comes a woman. That's it. Here it goes.
Yo,
Yes, ma'am.
they've been going
We're
at
sorry.
it on
Yes.
the chat already.
Oh.
No, I was asking
Yes,
you to
ma'am.
talk about Halloween since I'm on the panel.
They talk about Halloween. All right. Well, look. All right. Let's do this. Let's do this. We can talk about Halloween. That'll be the next topic. Let's finish with Samson here.
Yeah.
Let's get that out the way. Because Halloween, that might last for 10, 15 minutes. Who knows? So let's do this. Who's reading it? Anybody? Everybody?
Where are we at? I can read it.
No? I guess y'all forgot we were doing Samson. That's what it sounds like.
1620. Judges 1620. Drew put down. Let me get up and make my coffee.
1620 for sure.
My coffee. Let me get out of bed.
He's like, okay, get my coffee today.
Um,
All right, yeah. Yeah, 1619. And she made him sleep upon her knees, and she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head, and she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him. Notice it says she began to afflict him. Well, let me just. So yeah, so we are at 20. 20 is getting into. So yeah, so we are at 20. 20 is getting into when she's trying to wake him out of his sleep. All right, 1620. It's not a whole lot. Who's reading it?
Who's gonna read? See, you reading?
I 1620.
And she said, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as at other times before, and shake myself. And he wist not that the Lord was departed from him. But the Philistines took him, and put out his eyes, and brought him down to Gaza, and bound him with fetters of brass, and he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. Then the lords of the Philistines gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon their god, and to rejoice, for they said, Our God hath delivered Samson our enemy into our hand. And when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, Our God hath delivered into our hands our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry, that they said, Call for Samson, that he may make us sport. And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport. And they set him between the pillars. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, Suffer me that I may feel the pillars upon the house standeth, whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof of the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport. And Samson called unto the Lord, and said, O Lord God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee. Only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes. And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it was borne up, of the one with his right hand, and the other with his left. And Samson said, Let me die with the Philistines. And he bowed himself with all his might. And the house fell upon the lords and upon all the people that were therein. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. Then his brethren and all the house of the father came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtal in the burying place of Manoah his father. And he judged Israel 20 years.
All right. Okay. So we're at 20, he said. Yeah, so, all right. So she cuts his hair off, right? The 7 locks on his head. And if you don't know, right, hair in the Bible represents faith. That's what it represents. That's the depiction of it. And it's not a coincidence that he has 7 locks. Right. Or better yet, let me see. Yeah. 7 locks.
Yeah,
So there's
7.
like 7 big, so it's like 7 big pieces of hair on his head, right? You know, we all know that the number 7 is perfection. So one of the times that that he tells Delilah you can bind him, it was with 7 ropes. One of the times, right? So you see that number used a lot in the entire Bible. Hold on a second. All right, so he said that he was going to go out. So he was going to break free, just like he had before. But when the Philistine, but he didn't know that the Lord had departed from him. But the Philistines took him and put out his eyes. So in the Bible, it's constantly reminding us or constantly replaying something. And the reason why it does this is because God knows how stubborn and prideful the carnal mind is, right? So, you know, the whole scale over the eyes of pride. God is not dumb; He knows, and so there's these stories are constantly pointing to like the replay button. It's constantly replaying these things over and over, basically saying, excuse me, when are you going to get this? You know, you look at Jesus's, Victoria, hey, morning. You look at Jesus when he was here and he says, man, how much longer must I be here with you vipers? If you just pay attention to like when he says it, why he says it, like when he acts this way, you know, he's not happy. This whole idea that he's holding the disciples' hand, oh, you didn't get it this time? Oh, let me show you again, or let me explain it again. No, he tells them unbelief is your problem. He puts the problem on them. Unbelief is your problem, he tells them. Right? They couldn't heal the one boy that had, you know, that was demonized. They couldn't heal it, the issue. So Jesus is like, well, bring him to me. And he takes care of it. And he tells them all kinds of different, you know, ways of what the issue is, you know, unbelief is your issue, or he says these only come out by prayer and fasting. And prayer and fasting is not, he's not telling them these are stronger demons. You know, you gotta move God. You gotta pray more and twist God's arm behind his back, and boy, then he'll take the demon out. You know, that's not what Jesus is saying. He's saying that you need to get your body to understand that it's not in control. And you do that by his word, by fasting, like telling your body, no, you're not going to eat today. While your body is like, yeah, I am. I'm going to eat. I'm hungry. And so you have to combat that. Teaching your physical body that it can be in control by your soul. Your soul can actually control your body. That's what you're teaching yourself, that your soul can control it. Is it going to be perfect? No, but at some point you have to start understanding that. And that's what Jesus is telling them, to pray and fast, meaning stop allowing your body to cause you to have unbelief, because in other times he's telling them that unbelief is their issue, not faith. He doesn't tell them faith is your issue. So people say, well, right here he said, you start bringing up the verses that are talking about, oh, ye of little faith. No. That's talking about time. But I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about when he does tell them that unbelief is their problem. He doesn't say your faith is your problem. He says unbelief is your problem. When you put both of those together, that unbelief is your problem, or I'm sorry, all three of them, unbelief is your problem. He tells them in some of the times. Other times he tells them, oh, ye of little faith, and that's talking about time. It's not talking about you had a lot of faith and then you lost some faith and then no. It's talking about you didn't have it long enough. It's talking about time, little time, not measurement. And then you have the one, these only come out by prayer and fasting. That's going right back to you telling someone that that their unbelief is the problem. See, unbelief and faith play tug of war, if you will. And they play tug of war utilizing your soul, right? Your flesh doesn't believe it. Your spirit does. Your flesh doesn't believe it. Your spirit does. And the soul is the decision maker. And it's allowing them to play tug of war. And whatever side you decide to pull on, you're going to help the other one out. That's exactly how it works, even though it sounds weird. I get it. Trust me, I know. But that's the issue. I'm saying all that to say that we have to understand that faith in the Old Testament, hair represents faith in the Old Testament. And this is what was cut away from Samson, was his faith in a depiction, in a physical way. And let me see. And then we get to, he didn't know the Lord departed him. And it says, but the Philistines took him and put out his eyes. So going back to what I was saying about this replay button, replay. So in the Garden of Eden, the Bible tells us that Adam and Eve's eyes were open. And if you don't understand that it was open to carnality, if you don't get that, you're just going to have to go study that out some more. But their spiritual eyes were taken away from them because their spirit died. So when it says, and their eyes were open, and when people read that, I've heard all kinds of weird things, but what does go along with the Bible is, again, the replay buttons that God is putting constantly, right? The replay buttons. So their spiritual eyes were taken away. Their carnal eyes is what opened to this world that we see here. That's what eyes were open. That's how they saw. But here it says that they took out Samson's eyes. And so if we're just focusing on the story, it just sounds like a completely different story, right? Because they're not talking about Adam and Eve. It's talking about Samson. But let me say something to you in case you missed it, that this book has one author. And when you forget that this whole book has one author, I'm not talking about writers. I'm not talking about the man that wrote the story down, the ink on the parchment. I'm not talking about those men. Those men wrote it down, but Jesus is the author. And you have to understand that. There's so many books that we read that have one author, and even in movies and, all these, even movies, there were books, right? There were books first. But what we see in stories, that if you pay attention, you can put clues together. And I know it sounds weird. It's like, the Bible's not clues. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to tell you that in some weird way, Jesus did the same thing. He put things in there so many ways, so many times, hoping that you would see it, right? Like some of these detective movies, where you have this, person that's like maybe terrorizing, I don't know, like, Batman and Joker, Joker may leave little clues, or the Riddler, better yet, right? The Riddler, he leaves little clues here and there. And then further along the movie, you're like, wait a minute, I've seen this sticker before. And you go back to another crime and you're like, wait a minute, dude, it's the same sticker. So if it's the same sticker, then maybe it's the same, serial killer or whatever. And then later on in the movie, you notice, wait a minute, the very first person that became unalived by this crazy dude, he unalived them in this way. And all three of these people have been unalived the exact same way, but only found stickers at two of them. So, the investigator will go back and study the place even more, and he'll find that sticker. He just didn't look hard enough. So now you got the same sticker. All three of them were killed in the same way. You know what that's going to lead you to believe? That it's the same killer. But you still got to prove it. And I'm telling you, in some weird way, when the Bible says that we are supposed to, the signature of the villain, yeah. Let me tell you, Jesus has his signature in here too, man. Okay? He has his signature in here too. If you're not tuned in with your heart, your spirit, you're not going to see it. That's why it says he's a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. That word diligent means investigate. You have to investigate, just like an investigator would in a movie, Now, a lot of people, when they, start the journey of like, trying to understand the Bible, that maybe no one's told them like that. They don't know where to begin or how to start, and they don't see it that way. If you send this out in its original text in the Hebrew and the Greek, just to give you a better idea of how this word is used, it will help. It will help. And so I'm saying all that to say this. Noticing that Samson's eyes were plucked out, it can easily be overlooked as just some, meaning that it's insignificant to any other story, that it has its own story. And if it has its own story, then none of them correlate. None of them are meshed together. And it's not true. They all correlate. They are all meshed together. They're all clues, if you will, that is showing you something. Christ put himself in there over and over for those that have ears to hear, people who care to investigate the word. And so here Samson gets his eyes plucked out. Okay. And we'll go over it more in the story, but I'm trying to get you to focus on this piece. Give me a real quick second. All right, so let's see, where are we at? Yeah, they put out his eyes. So we're at 16, 21, and brought him down to Gaza. Boy, Gaza's having some problems right now. But anyway, brought him down to Gaza and bound him with fetters of brass. He did grind in the prison house. So what did they bind him with? Bronze fetters, right? Was he bound with foliage and rope? Was he bound with 7 green withs?
No.
Was he bound by his hair? How was he bound? With brass fetters. Y'all see the difference in the binding? Anybody?
Ain't the brass feathers like shankles? They're placed on the legs
Well,
and the wrists.
my question is this: are the way that he's telling the women, or I'm sorry, Delilah to bind him, and the way that he's bound by the Philistines, my question is, are they the same? That's the question I'm asking.
No.
No, they're not the same. That's the whole point. Okay. One of them is perfect faith. If you haven't figured that out, then we'll talk about that real quick. So he's telling Delilah to bind him with perfect faith. That's why the first ropes was 7 fresh ropes. Fresh. How many times does the Bible tell us that God's going to do a new thing? God's going to do a new thing. It tells us over and over. And when he kills 1,000 Philistines, he doesn't just do it with a dry bone like the movies depict. Like he just picked up a bone that's been dead for 5 years and it's just dry, pure white. No, it says that it's still bleeding. It's fresh. It's not dried up. Okay. But that's what he killed 1,000 men with. And then let's see. Praise God said, that's interesting. The Catholic Bible says bound with cords, not green withs. What verse are you talking about? Praise God, because ours says cords and green withs. It depends what translation you're reading. That's why it's important to study it in the Hebrew. The Hebrew, just like the King James says it, the Hebrew says it the exact same way. Judges 16:7. Judges 16:7 says 7 green withs, and you're saying that in the Catholic Bible it says bound with cords. Okay, well, when you go look it up in the Hebrew, it's widths, cords. You got to remember, King James Version, they just spoke different back then. But when you go study it in the Hebrew, it's the same. There's nothing different. It's just different translations, like meaning when, we're just use different words. But even in the King James, it says cords. Let me see. Where's it at? Let's see. That were never dried. Yeah, this one. So 16:11 says ropes, and that's actually cords also. So, all right. So he was bound with fetters, brass fetters. I'm just saying that the first ropes, the first group of ropes, right? 7 green widths or 7 cords. It's talking about fresh ropes. And I understand that, listen, guys, I can understand that it could also, when you study it in Hebrew, it could be talking about leather straps. But the point is, what you have to understand is they were new. That's what you have to understand, right? You got old wineskin, you got new wineskin. The point is you have to focus on what is new. Out of Job's friends, which one spoke good? Which one told him the right thing? The newer person, right? The newer person, the younger one. It's always the new and the young that are doing things in the Bible when it comes to especially when it comes to shadows of Christ. But he's not bound the same. So the Philistines are trying to force Samson into bondage. Hold on a second. All right. Yeah, so they're not bound the same, right? The Philistines are trying to force Samson to be in their slave, like to be in their their prisoner. It's just a completely different type of bondage. But Jesus tells us that he came not to be served, but to serve. He came to be our servant. But the way that we bind him to be our servant is with perfect faith, which is just faith, but it's perfect faith, not being double-minded, right? So the 7 green widths is talking about life. The number 7 is God's number, the number of perfection. The second way he tells Delilah is to take ropes that have never been used. No work has ever been done. You cannot bind Christ with works. It tells us right here. It makes it very clear right here. You cannot bind him with works. It will never happen. And that's what the Philistines are doing. The Philistines are trying to force him to be servant, right? Those brass fetters is works. They're works. How do you make fetters? Isn't it made with man's hands? You understand? It's made with man's hands. You cannot do so good under the law or add to what Jesus did. It has to 100% be faith. So when people have this argument, faith alone, is it faith alone? My friend, if you're not understanding the way Samson is describing how he is bound, you need to figure out the riddle. And according to the Bible, you got a certain time frame to get the answer right. Everybody, we are all under a time frame, whether you want to admit it, believe it, or not.
Faith alone and baptism. Faith alone and baptism.
Oh, my Lord.
What about it? What about it? Yeah, you're going to say that, and people are going to take that.
You, bro, I'm teasing you.
Yeah, well, you ain't teasing me. You saying it. People are believing it.
I think he means baptism of the Spirit. I'm sure that's what he means.
There you go.
Well, anyhow. But when people argue against faith alone, they only go to the New Testament to look for scripture. go ask somebody, hey, are you saved by faith alone? 99.9% of them, if they haven't heard this, what I'm saying, if they're not listening, they're going to go straight to the New Testament and they're going to try to show you how it's more than just faith alone. But yet right here in the story of Samson, number one, you have to understand that Samson's a shadow of Christ. You have to understand that to see it. Once you see it, you can see there's only one way that this man is bound, and it's through perfect faith. There's no works involved here, none whatsoever. And so when they go to the New Testament and they read the word works, it says right here, works. If you keep studying that out, you'll see what kind of works it's talking about. It's not talking about works of the law. It's not talking about how good you need to be. It's just talking about you moving forward with that faith. It's very simple. I can say I want a degree at a college all year long, days, weeks, months, a year. Eventually, any of you listening are gonna ask me, hey, have you started going to college yet? And I'll be like, nah, man, faith alone, man, faith alone. See, now that don't make any sense. You're not going to just sit there and tell God, I have faith that you're going to counterfeit a piece of paper that proved that I went to college for 4, 6, or 8 years. No, buddy. Now, when it comes to that, you have to work towards that. Don't you understand? You have to you can have faith that you're going to get a degree all you want, but you have to do the math. You have to do the history. And then, you got to get your basics out of the way, and then you go hit your core classes. You have to. If you're in a lake and you're 15 feet away from the shore and your feet are not touching the ground, you can pray to God all day that he's going to come save you. If you don't start swimming towards that shore, you're going to die. It's real simple. So that's why James says, faith without works is dead. That's what faith without works. It's not talking about being good under the law. You can have all the faith you want. Do you know why I come on here every morning about Jesus in the Old Testament? Because I have already seen in my imagination people's scales falling off their eyes. And I can sit here and have faith about it all I want. But if I don't get on here and start sharing what I've seen and what I know to be true, then my faith is dead because I'm not utilizing it. You understand? And I'm not talking about Jesus. I'm talking about my understanding. My understanding of faith is done. I might as well not even have any because I'm not using the servant, the faithless servant. I'm not using him. But when you use him, who is already bound because you have faith, him, meaning him, my belief is in him. I don't have unbelief in Jesus. I believe that he is going to do what he said he's going to do. So faith, going forward with faith, people's eyes will become descaled. But I had to I still got to get my phone. I still have to hit live. I still got to bring people up on a panel. I have to sit in my chair. All those things are movements towards what I believe is already true. Those are the works. Nothing that I have done this morning is according to the law. There's nothing that I have done where I'm like, okay, I did so good. None of that. It's not talking about those kind of works. It's talking about the works of me coming in my man cave over here, and turning my phone on, bringing people up, blah, 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 blah. All the studying that I've done, that was all the works. And you hear me talk about Samson. Didn't just understand this yesterday. I've been teaching this for over 11 years. But way back then, 11 years ago, is when I started putting in the work. I wasn't putting in not sinning. That wasn't what I was putting in. I just trusted him, read the word, gained understanding, and now I have to open my mouth, right? Because now I can see I can hear the lame will walk, pick up your bed and walk, right? The gospel. How beautiful are their feet that bring the gospel, that preach the gospel, right? So, and I'm saying all that because there's two ways that he's bound in the Bible, Samson. One, it's constantly told to us as perfection. That's the first time. 7. Notice that they're green, though, foliage, right? Which is the name, same name, for Gideon's servant, Fura. Foliage, that's his name. So his servant's name happens to be the same thing that bounds him. Does that not sound like God to you? Are you not seeing all the stickers? Are you not seeing all the all the flags here that are popping up to say hello, hello, here's something else to look at, hello. So we see fetters being put on him, right? We see this here, right? It's not the way this is not the way he said to bind him. So other people say, you know, we'll get to it. How was he able to push down the pillars? Well, was he bound properly? They have no idea what they have in their possession, bro. They have no idea. It's just a straight catastrophe waiting to happen for them, you know. But remember, he put himself in this predicament. Jesus said, no man takes my life, but I give it. All right. And it says, so that 16:21, so they bound him with fetters of brass, and he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit, the hair of his head began to grow again after it was shaven. Now, what would be the point of them telling us that? Think about it for a second. Think about it. We know that that's where his strength lies, right? We know that. So it's telling us that his hair began to grow again, which means his strength began to grow again, which is a scary thing for the Philistines as far as Samson's story goes anyway. But for us that have ears to hear, it's quote unquote, his faith began to grow again, right? His faith began to grow. If you understand this is a shadow of Christ, Christ is a seed. And the only thing that Christ does not know how to do, people say, can Jesus do anything? If you don't know the answer to this, or let me ask you, what is the one thing that Jesus does not know how to do? Does anybody know? I kind of gave it away already, but does anybody know? The one thing that Jesus does not know how to do?
Lie.
Does it not give it?
What? What's the answer?
What
was the answers?
My answer was it that he gives us he's not allowed to take away our will or our choices, like the choices we make?
Okay, so you're saying that God doesn't go against his own word?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to lie, bro. He can't lie.
Doesn't know how to lie. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
okay.
So Conley said, go against the will of God. Okay, so the 100% truth answer is go against God's will. That's the one thing he doesn't know how to do. He doesn't know how to go against God's will. So all those things y'all are naming all fit in that category. And in that category of God's will, he doesn't know how to sin, lie, all of those things. And he doesn't know how to die. Obviously, he doesn't know how to die, but he doesn't know how to do anything contrary to the will of God. He doesn't know how to do that. Like it doesn't even cross his mind, right? Dre and Benny, we're talking about Ezekiel, remember we were talking about the four creatures, right? That Ezekiel saw. We kind of breaking down what that is or whatnot. In that, never mind. I'm digressing. All right. But he doesn't know how to die. He doesn't know how to lie. He doesn't know how to do anything against God's will. You know, he's going to come back alive. So you see hair being cut off from Samson, it says, and it began to grow back. If Jesus is the rose of Sharon, if Jesus is the resurrection life, then he always grows. Do you understand? He always grows, meaning he'll always come back to life. Always. All right, so we're at 16:23. Then the lords of the Philistines gathered them together to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon their god, and to rejoice, for they said, our God hath delivered Samson, our enemy, in our hands. If you don't understand what their God is, it's their belly. It's their flesh. That's what their God is, if you don't know. Who's their God? Dagon. What was the god of Nineveh? Does anybody remember?
Was it Dagon?
It was the fish god too, bro.
I don't know. Prove it.
Yeah, Dagon.
Okay, there you go. Fish god. Okay. All right. So it's the same god. Fish god, the wiggly belly. You go study fish out. It's talking about fish from its jiggly motion. It's talking about your belly, man, 100%. The thing that's always moving, the thing that has to be aroused, and you know, roller coaster rides, you know, that thing. The thing that you go to church and you can't wait for them to play your favorite song, so you can belly dance for about 5 minutes, and after that, you just got a sour look on your face because the other songs are old and they come from the hymns and it's boring. Bubba, you at church for the wrong reason. Man, you at church for the wrong reason. If you are that person that I only like it when they play this song and that song so I can feel it. I want to feel the spirit. No, Bubba, listen, more than likely you're saved, okay? More than likely you're fine. But we all have to start being like Dre, man. You need to be petty with your flesh, okay? You need to be petty with your flesh. Be real petty. Pick on it. Pick on your flesh back, man, because it picks on you all the time. So pick on it. Pick on it back. Figure out what part of me, anything that has to do with church, ask yourself, why do I like this? Do that. If you haven't done that, man, you want to have some fun with your flesh, anything that has to do with church, ask yourself, what do I like about this? I'm telling you, there'll be 25, 30% of the things at church you're like, wait a second. I think I know why I like that. And it's because you just can't wait to belly dance. That's it. You know, every one of us, you have to understand, our belly was our God. Guys, our belly, before you became saved, your belly was your God, your feelings, right? Drama, all this, you know, gossip, all that stuff comes from your belly, right? It's not about stop doing it because it's sin. No, you worshiped your belly. Thou shalt not have any other gods before me. Do you understand? Thou shalt not have any other gods before me. And your belly was your God, 100%. And so as we are saved and we're gaining understanding on who Christ is, where he's located in us, little by little, you can start pointing out what part of you is still belly dancing. It's very important. It's not about sin. Man, get that word out of your head. Sin is not the issue. Jesus has already paid for sin. Okay? That's not the issue. The issue is that the old man, the flesh part of you, the part that you used to worship, make no mistake, you used to worship your belly, the fish god, Dagon. You were the same as Nineveh. You were the same as these Philistines. Trust me, 100%. Now it's your job to figure out what part of that is still there. Like what part of it, what is it that my belly still worships? That's up to you, man. Every man's got to do that himself. That is up to you. Yes, we can use the word sin and say, well, my belly still causes me to sin in this area. But don't look at it as God is judging you, my friend. You're already a child of God, man. Let that junk go. But when you can figure out what part of you is still belly dancing, that is how you can mature spiritually, because you can recognize that, wait a minute, that don't come from my God, right? My God, the things out of that belly, Jesus said, believers in me, out of their belly will flow rivers of living water. So if there's two bellies and we worship our God, I'm talking about not our belly, but our God, okay? It's not hard to start pointing out, hey man, where am I still belly dancing at? But don't worry about sin and condemnation. Oh my Lord, get that out of your head. Just notice it. Say, hey man, you know what, man, my belly still gets the best of me in this. And it's going to, because you got to understand, you are already ruled over. Your belly was your God. You have to understand that and realize where that's at now. So the lords of the Philistine gathered, this is 16:23. The lords of the Philistine gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon their God, and to rejoice, for they said, our God has delivered Samson, enemy, into our hand. And when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, our God hath delivered into our hands our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, which slew. And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry, that they said, call for Samson, that he may make us sport. When you go look up that word sport in the Hebrew, it means, anybody know? Does anybody know before I say it? You only got, y'all are all using your computers. Okay, so nobody knew. Too late.
Mocking, bro. It's mocking.
Yeah, mocking.
Well, yeah. The flesh mocks the spirit, right? Where do we see mocking in the Bible? Anybody? Show
Everywhere.
me. Prove it.
Everywhere.
Prove it.
Romans says
What stories?
Romans says it. Says it. Elijah did it.
Isaac
Romans says
They were mocking
Ishmael.
Christ as they were scourging him.
That's right. They were mocking him. Ishmael and Isaac. The Bible tells us that the second born of Abraham, Ishmael, he mocked Isaac. Joseph, when he told his brothers, hey, all y'all bow down to me. Can you imagine, bro?
And they're like,
your
better
little
not.
brother pretty much say it. Yeah, they're like, bro, we ain't bowed down to you, crazy, bro. Anyway, but we know it's true. But it's funny because we can at least relate, right? That you're telling someone a truth. You know, I remember when I was going to join the service, and they were like, well, what are you going to do? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So I went to go talk to a recruiter, this and that, and we figured it out. And I'm like, bro, I'm going to be an infantryman, Bubba. It's about to go down. And they're like, bro, you know how hard that is, bro. You know, and don't get me wrong. Now, some of my football player buddies was like, yeah, bro, I can see you doing that, because they knew me. They knew me on the gridiron, bro. They knew me in the Kuna. See, down here, it's called the Kuna, bro. They knew me we played Bloody Alley. I'll be smashing folks, bro, left and right. Now, my family was never there to see that. They didn't see that. The majority of the team was scared to get in that Bloody Alley with me, bro. Majority of people didn't see that, but my football team players did. They're like, I better not get in that Bloody Alley with that crazy dude. But, even my coach, coach, I've seen him not too long. I see him at least once a month now. But, he was in the Army. We pretty much did the same job. And he's like, I always knew you were going to do something hardcore. You know, football coaches know their guys, man. You know, now my dad, on the other hand, he was like, well, I definitely could see you trying to do something like that. Whether I was going to make it or not, my dad didn't know. He knew it was a crazy job. But the whole point I'm getting at is people will mock you, right? They'll mock because they can't see what you're seeing in your imagination. Over imagination, and it's very important, that our imagination is the part of us that believes something that we can see that's very far away, right? But with Christ, it's achievable, right? It's achievable because you believe that you can do it. Now, if you want to be the best serial killer in the world, there's another imagination you can use. And with Satan, you can be very productive. So let me explain something. The way our mind works, if we put in the work, it'll happen. Whatever idea, whatever you can see in your imagination. The only sad thing is that imagination can go both ways, right? Right? We see it in the flood. Their imagination was evil continuously. You see it in Sodom and Gomorrah. Obviously, their imagination was evil continuously, especially when you study how Lot turned back. It gives you the big clue right there on what the issue was. So there's the choice, So the choice is there. Let me see. Man, has Flip been up here today? I don't know. I don't think you have. All right. So they brought him out to make sport. So we're in 16:25. They brought him out. They said that he may make us sport. And it's talking about mocking. They brought him out to mock. Jesus being a shadow of Christ, brought him out to mock, because spirits always mocked by the flesh, by carnality. And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport, and they set him between two pillars. And Samson said, excuse me, Samson said to the lad that held him by the hand, "Suffer me that I may feel the pillar whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them." Now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof, where are they at? The roof?
The upper room.
How many upper rooms in the Bible? Yeah. How many upper rooms in the Bible are there that is always talking about a place where a godly man goes or any of that? There's a few of them, guys. Okay. There's a few of them. And this is another sticker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a sticker, right? You got Mount Zion, upper room. Right, you got the man of God, Elisha. The woman said,
Elijah, Ehud.
That's where Eglon was in the upper room. So these people are always
Jericho.
Yeah, Jericho. That's where she hid him in the upper room. But
yep,
there's always this upper room in the Bible, and it's another sticker, guys. It's another note. It makes a melody. As soon as you read it, and all you have to do is read the context of who it is, and you can see whether it's God or Satan in that upper room. Just read the context in the story. So the upper room is always God's, period, guys. That's the upper room. But when you see Satan there, you'll always see a judge. Like the judge is coming to you because you're seated in a position that's not yours. And this goes all the way back to the fight for the inheritance, which that might be a topic we discuss, so we can go through there deeper, but later on. But all right, the people saw him, they praised, hold on, Samson, they held him by the hand. Okay, so he's telling this lad, hey, lean me upon these pillars. Excuse me. And it says, and they were there upon the roof, about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson was mocked, made sport. See, they're in a position that they're not supposed to be in. And it's not a coincidence that the deliverer, whose name in English is sunlight, Christ is the light of the world. Here's the deliverer. Remember, this is a judge of Israel, right? And Samson called unto the Lord and said, O Lord God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me. Now remember, his hair has been growing back. So he's God is back in action, Bubba. He said, I pray thee only this once. Let me ask you this. How many times did Jesus had to die? How many times? Anybody? How many times? Does he need to die again?
Never.
So I'm telling you, it is not okay to only read the New Testament. It's not okay. You need to see it in so many different ways. It needs to become so true in you that you'll understand it's not about arguing to be right. If all you have is New Testament arguments, you deeply don't have it rooted in you. Now, you'll fight for the arguments, for argument's sake, you'll let it go and all that. I get it. And you can fight for what you believe, trying to use the New Testament. But I'm telling you right now, if you want the seed of who you are, the seed of Jesus to be rooted so deep in you, I'm telling you right now, man, to have the understanding that Christ had put himself in the Old Testament, to have that understanding, I'm telling you, the argumentative part of the Bible will leave. The childish part that is still in your belly that causes you to belly dance, it'll leave. You won't even want to waste your time arguing with anybody. Discernment will be so much more clear. You'll know, okay, this person ain't ready. You'll know within a minute or two. That doesn't mean don't have the discussion at all. It means you won't be a 4-hour fool. Don't be a 4-hour fool. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to the body. Don't do that to us. We're all in this together. All of us are. So he says, and we're in 16:28, I pray thee and strengthen me. I pray thee only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes. So he wants revenge for his 2 eyes that were taken from him. If you don't understand that this is Jesus, that Jesus wanting revenge for the eyesight that was taken away from Adam and Eve, man, you're missing. I'm not sure what you're reading. Oh, man, I don't know any way to say this. I really don't. It can come off pretty harsh, man, and I can be pretty harsh very easily, but harsh in the sense of the type of anger, right? When you can see what nasty of a thing that Satan did when he took our eyesight from us, when you can see it and you can understand why Jesus wrote the story out the way that he did, that Samson wants revenge for his 2 eyes, to see that it was Christ that died so we can receive our eyesight back. You understand? Jesus is God. He's God. Guys, notice how Samson talks to God. Y'all see it? Does anybody see that Samson talks to God? Does anybody see that? Y'all see it, right? That he talks to God. And people still don't understand why Jesus talked to God. This is why they don't understand. But let me tell you, be very careful. Be very careful. A head knowledge puffeth up. Head knowledge. When you will receive a truth in your head, it will puff up, and you'll go tell someone this, and you'll get beat up mentally. You got to be careful who you're saying certain things to. But I'm going to say it again, and we'll stay there for about a minute. We'll stay there for about a minute, okay? But I'm telling you right now, you need to be careful, because when you cast pearls to swine, they will trample you just like the Bible says. And if you say, oh, no, it won't happen to me because this and that. Oh, no, Bubba, you'll be the first one to get slapped around. This stuff needs to be rooted in you. Be patient. Fruits of the Spirit. Have love. Be in joy. Patient. Long suffering is patience. Be patient. Quit trying to be the first one to share a revelation. I got a revelation. Calm your butt down. Calm yourself, Yago. Was it? Ain't that the bird's name in Aladdin? That little. Yeah, I think it's calm yourself, Yago. You need to calm your butt down. Put some crackers in your mouth. Sit on your hands. Something. Look. So let's go through there a little bit. So we see Joseph. Joseph talks to God. If you don't understand that Joseph, we might do Joseph next. Joseph is a shadow of Christ, okay? But he talks to God. Who else in the Bible talks to God in the Old Testament? Yeah.
David,
and what's
David,
Daniel's name
Abraham.
mean?
Oh,
David. So David's name means love. What does Daniel's name mean? Anybody?
God is my judge.
Daniel's, God is my judge, right. But Daniel, he talks to God. David, he talks to God, shadow of Christ. Let me ask you this. When Jesus was here, was that New Testament or Old Testament?
before that.
No, the gospel. He's talking
Before
about
he died.
the gospel.
Old Testament.
Before he died.
Old, bro.
Before he died. Do what?
Old Testament.
Right, guys. Yeah, listen, guys. Jesus walking this world before he died, it was Old Testament. There's another note. Ding, another sticker. It's another note. Everybody wants to know, why was Jesus talking to God? Over and over you hear this. And you know why they don't understand? And I hear the most ridiculous explanations. Well, because he was kind of talking to himself. You talk to yourself. Don't you talk to yourself? Most ridiculous arguments ever I ever heard in my life. Listen, if you've been one of them, guys, we're all in this together, okay? Over 11 years ago, I kind of in a way was like, wait a minute, is he talking to himself? The question has crossed my mind. So I'd be a liar if I say it never crossed my mind. No. 11 years ago, my friend, I had all these questions, okay? I had all these questions. So let's not do this. I'm just saying there's got to be a point in time where the questions get answered. It's bad when you have all these questions and they don't ever get answered and you're trying to figure out how come I'm telling you right now, being familiar with the Bible, and I'm talking about very familiar with it, is when a lot of the answers that you have, a lot of questions that you have get answered. So constantly in the Old Testament, guys, and that is with Jesus walking in this world, that you see, look at Joshua, the ones that led the people into the promised land. Didn't Joshua speak to God? Anybody? Did Joshua speak to God?
Yes.
Yeah. What did Joshua say? Let's go to where Joshua stopped the sun. Let's go there real quick. Somebody go there. It's in Joshua, probably 10 or something. I don't remember. Somebody look it up. And don't let me forget the topic, right? We're talking about. Go ahead.
I don't know exactly, but it's right after the Battle of Ai, I believe.
Well, I'm sure everybody's looking it up. Somebody find it. Find that bad boy. Does anybody have access? Oh, y'all gonna make me do it. Let me pull my thing up. Lord have mercy. I gotta go cut some trees today, man.
Yeah, Joshua talks to God. You want to know where?
Yeah, but I'm saying it's in.
He talks to the angel of the Lord when the captain tells him to take his sandals off. You talk to him then too.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when he talks to God. But it's all right. It's in 10, the one I'm talking about, guys. Where he's the sun still, where he makes the sun still. How in the world has nobody found this yet?
Deuteronomy 10.
Timmy said 10:12.
I said Joshua 10. Oh, they're saying it's verse 12? It might be verse 12. I don't remember. Yeah. I know it's around 10, though.
You want me to read it?
All right, 12. And Joshua to the Lord. Go ahead.
Then spake Joshua to the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valleys of Halon. Yep. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. So,
Okay. Okay. What did Jesus say when he spoke to the world? Anybody remember? The waters, y'all don't remember? Did Jesus speak to the earth?
Let there be
Oh my
light.
Lord, have
Let the
mercy.
He
fish.
told them be silent.
Let the waters
No, no,
produce
no,
be
abundantly.
no.
still.
When he commanded the earth to do something, nobody remembers. Oh my
Did he
Lord, have mercy.
swallow up?
Be
Swallow up
still.
the waters?
Oh my Lord, bro. Nobody knows. Jeez, how
Hey, I
much
just
longer
woke
must
up,
I be
man.
here?
I got a coffee.
Oh my goodness!
He told it to be still. Peace. Be still.
We're all in
All
this
right,
together,
okay.
Trot.
What was Jesus? What was Jesus? What was Jesus speaking to? Creation, right?
Yeah, because he created he created everything,
No, no, no. I'm
and
not
by
talking about him create. I'm saying when he said, "Peace be still to the waters," is he talking to creation or not?
yes, he
Yes, he
is.
is.
What is he telling to be still? It's the creation. Okay. What was
The
Joshua
waters,
saying
the
to be still? Was
seas.
he talking to creation? No, Joshua. Joshua.
Oh,
Yes,
Was he
Joshua.
talking to
Oh,
creation?
the sun
no,
and
he's
moon.
talking to
So
God.
they both I know he was talking to God, but I'm saying and was he trying to get creation to do something? I'm talking about how
Yes.
both were getting creation to do something. So in Joshua, oh man, I had it right here. Let me go back. I'm just trying to show y'all something. I think y'all said 10:12, right? All right. And it says 12. Then spake Joshua to the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still. So did he say that out loud?
Yep.
Because it says he said.
Yeah. So did he say, "Oh Lord, make the sun stay still," or did he say, "Sun, stay still"?
Commanded the sun to stay still. He did.
All right. Now, so he commanded the sun to stay still. Jesus commanded, the water to be still. But if you go study in Hebrew and in Greek what they both said, "Peace be still." Do you know that?
That's a revelation, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they
Don't
both
know. You
said,
know now.
"Peace be still." They both said, "Peace be still." They both said that.
Hmm.
But in the Old Testament, you will see these people that are shadows of Christ, shadows, and they're constantly talking to God. And then Jesus gets here, and we're not understanding why he's talking to God.
Hey,
This is
Trot, can
why.
you repeat
This is
that
why you
again?
don't
Who were the two
understand.
people that said,
What?
"Peace be still"?
What? Joshua and Jesus, they both said,
Oh,
"Peace be
yeah, yeah,
still."
yeah, 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 yeah. He
Joshua,
told, yeah, yeah.
when you go study it, when you go study what he said in Hebrew, he literally said, "Peace be still" to the sun, and Jesus said, "Peace be still." They both said, "Peace be still." They both commanded creation to do something, and it listened. So with that being said, constantly you see men talking to God, constantly. And when Jesus get here, he's talking to God. And they're like, well, if he is God, how is he talking to God? And this is why. Jesus was still, don't you understand? Jesus was still in the Old Testament. He had not died and resurrected yet. So they go, yeah, but he was still God. You're still missing it. I don't care how many times you say, yeah, but Jesus was God. Yes, yes, but you're still missing it. He doesn't break his rules, man. Before the cross, he had to act like everybody else. Don't you understand? How do you not understand that? You know why you don't understand that? Because you're not as familiar with the Bible as you claim. And you don't take that as like a rebuke or any of that. I'm just trying to say that everybody, guys, everybody, when they become saved and they find out what family they're in, what happens? Think about it. Think about a regular family in the world. Just think about a regular family. Okay, I understand there's some twisted families in the world, and if you have ever in one of those, I apologize. Okay, but this is not, we're not in a counseling session, so we'll talk about that another day. I'm talking about people that just a typical family where there ain't no crazy shenanigans. Normally, what you'll see is some of the little brothers or the little sisters, they want to be like the older brother or the older sister. Nobody's more special in the family. It's just the older ones are a little further along. That's it. That is it. But they're all in the same family. And it's no different with us. We become born again. Okay. And there are some people that have become born again and they do what the Lord has told them to do, which is stick your face in this Bible and get familiar with it. So you could have been saved, right? Born into the family first. And you could have been saved for 10 years. And here comes somebody behind you, been saved 1 year. And they start digging their face in that Bible. And within 2-3 years, Bubba, they sound just like mommy and daddy. And it's because the older one is being slothful and lazy. They had the same opportunity as anybody else, but they just ain't hopping in there. And so what's going to happen is there's going to be other people that get brought into the family, and they're going to see the ones that's been sticking their nose in that Bible, and they're going to want to be just like them. Don't you understand? It's okay. It's okay to see the older sibling and say, man, I want to be just like them. There's nothing wrong with that. Stop allowing people to tell you that we're not supposed to want to be like the obedient son or daughter. No, Jesus is the standard. 100%. You want to be under the shadow and through under, in his footsteps. 100%. 100%. We're all siblings. So when people start trying to make things so complicated and they're like, well, you're not going to, all of our gifts are different and you can't be like him and you can't. Okay, well, who can you be like? So there's nobody. There's only so many gifts. There's not 50,000 gifts and, or there's not 10 billion gifts and every one of us has one of those gifts. That's such a lie. No. How many gifts are there? Anybody?
9.
Anybody know how many? Okay, fine. That's fair. Let's say there's 9, right? Okay, how many of us? There's 68 of us in here. So none of us are going to have the same gifts. First of all, the Bible says that he's already given us all spiritual blessings. All. Yeah, you're going to use one more than another. Yeah, duh. Okay, but let's not complicate things. You got the Spirit of Christ living on the inside of you. You have the ability to operate in any gift. Period. I don't care what anybody says. So when the Bible talks about, to one he gave this, to one he gave that, Bubba, you keep studying that whole thing out. Paul's not trying to tell you only got one gift. That's not what he's trying to tell you.
100% agree, bro. I 100% agree.
I don't know why people keep saying that. No, then our God is limited to how many. No, listen, I'm going to say it again. You yourself may operate very well in one gift, but only you can limit whether God can use you in another way, because God wants to utilize all of us in every way. Let me ask you this. If we're in heaven, what do we have now? You know what we have? Love. That's what we have. That's what we have. We all have that. Okay. So the Bible talks about the gifts in a certain way. The gifts go away and all these other things, which is great. I get it. But, this idea where, you're not supposed to be like somebody else and your life's supposed to be, listen, I'm going to say it again. We're siblings and God's not sitting there falling off his throne because you want to be like someone else. And then you ask, who do you want to be like? Well, I want to be like that person. Oh, yeah. Why? Man, they bring people to the Lord. Okay. We're all supposed to make disciples. Stop pushing down somebody because they're learning. Stop pushing people down because they're getting further along in the word than you. Stop doing that. You don't get anywhere being jealous and this backbiting. It's crazy, man, the stuff that I hear. You can't be like everybody else. Why in the world would you stop a sibling trying to follow their older brother or sister? It makes no sense. Obviously, if the older brother is an electrician, and he has to go, 50 feet in the air, 2-3 times a day, and the younger brother is scared of heights, okay, I get it. Okay, he can go do something else. Okay, he can go pick a different career. I get it. But if you were to ask him, hey, why do you look up to your older brother? Because he's smart. Oh, so he looks up to him because he's smart, not because he goes 50 feet in the air 3 times a day. Don't hold back when you don't know why someone is looking up to somebody else. Don't hold them back. You don't know exactly what it is about that person. It may not be the thing you think. And if you go tell someone, oh, you can't be like, you don't do that. People need to learn to shut their mouth. And then you think you're reading the Bible and you try to bring up a cute little verse and you're like, see, it says right there. And then you got that wrong. That's not even what that verse is talking about. But yet you're trying to figure out how to swindle someone to stop following their older sibling. Something's wrong with the way you think. You need to become descaled. Matter of fact, stay in the shadows. Stay in the shadows. Don't swipe out of your phone. You ain't got to come in here. Stay in the shadows and learn something. You ain't got to come in the room. All right. Where are we at exactly? So the last thing that I was getting at is people ask, why is Jesus talking to God? There's so much I can go over about that, but it's all this that we're talking about in the Old Testament. All right, let's see. So 16:28 is Samson saying, let me get revenge for my 2 wives that were taken from me. All right, this part being a shadow of Christ, where he was seeking revenge for the 2 eyes that was taken from us in the Garden of Eden. Okay. And Samson took a hold of the 2 middle pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it was borne up, of the one with his right hand, and of the other his left. This is why being familiar with the Bible is important, because if you don't understand that God's right arm is grace, love, mercy, and his left arm is his judgment arm, if you don't understand this don't make any sense. All you're seeing is Samson with his hands on pillars about to push him down. That's all you see. Because you don't see the shadow of Christ, then there's no significance to why it's describing it the way, oh, he took the right hand and put it on the pillar. He took the left hand. They're like, well, they got to get the story across somehow. No, brother. No, I'm sorry. No, don't hate me because I'm telling you the truth. Don't make me your enemy because you don't like that you don't see 100% what I'm saying. So you think just because you don't see it, that it's not true, just because you don't see it. No, you need to put your sword down. You need to go aim it in another direction because you're kicking against the pricks here. This is a spiritual truth. It is a fact. It is all over in the Old Testament. Gideon's soldiers, a lot of soldiers in the Old Testament, you think they're all called left-handed for no reason? So again, it's just fluff. It's just more story, just more to read. And all the men were left-handed, cunning fighters. All of them left-handed. Judgment of God is what that's talking about. Judgment of God. It's all over. He separates his sheep to the right and his goats to the left. Why? Why? You ain't ask yourself that? Why to the right? Why to the left? Why? When the way they set up their camp, and you read the names that are to the right and the names that are to the left, and I'm talking about direction, okay? Right? So you have the east, right? So you have Dan, which means judge, right? Matter of fact, I got it right here drawn out. So to
It's
the north,
Dan somebody and then Nefertili.
Nefertili. Yeah, it's Dan, Asher, Nefertili. But Dan's name basically means judge, okay? And then and if you're facing this, it's crazy, but if you're facing this, that would be the left arm, which is the north. The south of the tents, because the east was Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. And that's the opening of the Levite tent. And then right before that was Moses. It was the high priest, Moses, Aaron, and his sons. But to the right, which is the south, the direction, you have the right arm of God. And just listen to the names. So you got Reuben, Simeon, and Gad. And all the names mean approved, hearing, and overcoming. And when you go study that out, even the names, bro, make so much sense. But on this cross, the one that it's the tribes, the way they set up their tribes, you'll see the left arm being judge. You'll see the right hand being mercy, grace. That's what you'll see. And we know Jesus is the right arm of God, which is the grace of God, the righteousness of God, the righteous. That's why Gideon was a left-handed man, girded a double-edged dagger that he created, by the way. He girded it on his right thigh. Why? Because when God judges, he judges righteously. That's why. It's not a coincidence. It's not insignificant. Matter of fact, it's very significant to understanding who God is and who you are. And so Gideon, when he went up to the upper room, here we go, the upper room, and Eglon, and then Eglon's there sitting down, and he's called a very fat man. Why in the world does it have to tell us he's very fat? It's talking about his belly, guys. He worships his belly. That's what it's talking about. And it says that when Gideon unsheathed the sword, remember, he's left-handed. So he takes the sword from the right side, which is the righteous side, because God is a just God. But it's his left hand, my friend, that brings the judgment. And Ehud, what does Ehud's name mean in Hebrew? I forgot. Dre, do you remember? I don't remember.
Oh, not off the top of my head, bro. I have to look at my notes.
Okay, it's all right. Anyway, but he says that Ehud stabs Eglon in the belly, and that even the haft went in, which is the handle. So the whole sword, and if you don't know what a two-edged sword, a double-edged dagger is, it's talking about the spirit. But he stabs him in the belly, and it says that the haft went in, meaning the whole thing went in. And people say, oh, it's because he was so fat, man. Stop it, bro. Look, in real life, did Ehud stab a big old fat dude in the whole sword? Yes, 100%. But spiritually, it's the word of God going into the belly, okay, destroying the other god. Don't you understand? Don't you understand what this is telling us? But he does it with his left hand. On and on you can go to see that the left hand of God is his judgment. The right hand of God is his righteousness, who is Christ. And so if you don't understand all of that, and I just went over a few of them, it's all in there, man. The reason why people ain't seeing this is because they don't want to see it. Maybe because they're still worshiping their belly god. They just want to belly dance at church all the time. But anyway, so Samson, it says he put his left hand on one pillar. He put his right hand on another pillar. And if you keep the story of Christ in these parables, if you keep all the context there, like everything I just went over, you see the judgment and the righteousness of God. Both right there at the same time. Let me show you how awesome God is, how he puts it together. Samson's sunlight took the two middle pillars upon the house where it stood, which it was born, and of one of his right hand and the other with his left. And Samson said, let me die with the Philistines. And the reason why it's important to read Hebrew and Greek is because that phrase, me die, that phrase right there literally means my soul. Samson said, let my soul die with the Philistines. Let my soul. The Bible tells us in so many areas that God offered his soul for us, guys. His soul was offered for us. And if you don't understand that God is a spirit, soul, and a body, if you don't understand that, then it don't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because you're not putting everything together. God is a spirit, a soul, and a body. And his body that he has in heaven, that body cannot enter this world the way you think. It cannot. That's why he had to make a man the same way he did Adam. Oh, my Lord, man. Jeez. When he made Adam.
The left hand or the right hand being grace and righteousness, right?
The right hand being righteousness, grace, the right hand.
Amen.
The left
All
hand
right.
is his judgment. Yeah. So let me ask you this. When God, and don't split, these people, man, don't split hairs. Don't do this. There's a difference between create and form. Yeah, man. Oh, my Lord. I know. I know. I'm just saying, I'm just using some words to get my point across right now, right? Calm down. But when he formed, created, whatever word you want to use, I don't care. But I'm just going to use a word to get my point across. But when he formed Adam from the dust of the ground, okay, was that an image or not?
Yes.
Guys? It was an image, right? Because he formed him out of clay. Yeah. That's what it says. Isn't that an image?
Amen. Yes.
Okay. And then it says he breathed in him and Adam became a living what? Okay. He became okay. So right now we have a man that has a soul. That's what we have. A man that has a soul. That's what it says. That's what it says. He became a living soul. But if you read the Bible enough, you will see that Adam was not God, though. You can if go study it out harder, man. Adam himself was not God. He became a living soul. That's what he became, a living soul. And if you don't understand that the tree of life is the spirit, if you don't understand that, then that means you're calling the soul only the spirit. That's what you're calling it. The tree of life, my friend, is the spirit. Jesus said, my words are spirit. He is the tree of life. Oh, man, dude. So the first Adam was created into an image. Jesus was created into the image. He was the image of the invisible God. That's why he's called the last Adam. He was created the same way, talking about Jesus's physical body, guys, the physical body that was walking this earth. because God's body is not going to come in this earth and walk around. The whole thing would have blown up. Okay? But he made an image. That's why Jesus is called the image of the invisible God. They both were created from the dust of the ground, and that's talking about the spirit. It ain't talking about this fallen dust that we walk on every day. So, we were made in the image and likeness of God. Image and likeness. But all of us came through the first Adam with the dead spirit. Okay? And our flesh is fallen. So if you're going to sit here and say that we were the image of God, nobody, trust me. If our body was not fallen, it would not be like this. It'd be completely. So I'm saying all that to say that when God formed the body of Jesus, my friend, he put his soul in Jesus, his own soul. God put his own soul in Jesus. His own soul. Not just the way he breathed into Adam. No. That's what Jesus did to the disciples. He breathed on them. Bro, life only comes from one place. And it is shared. That's why Jesus took the bread and he broke it. You understand? He broke the bread. Everybody is the same body. We're all the same body. But it was Jesus that breathed on the disciples, because only God can do that. Only God can breathe things to people like that. But it has to be understood. You have to see why Paul called Jesus the last Adam. He called him that because there was not again going to be formed a man straight from God's heart. Eden, the good ground, the soil, the dust, the good ground. That's what Adam, the first Adam, was created from. It was good ground. It wasn't fallen world. The world didn't fall, and then God goes, I'm going to take this soil, the fallen soil from the fallen, and create Adam. That's a lie. That's not what happened. He created Adam from good ground. Parable of the soil. Don't forget the parable of the sower. Don't forget the parable of the sower. You have to put everything together. Jesus calls the soil, the soil hearts. Don't forget it. I know it's a lot I'm going into, but you need to understand why Samson is saying, let my soul die with the Philistines. You have to understand that the Bible tells us that God offered his own soul. Where was his soul if it wasn't in Jesus's body? Where? You mean to tell me that the only sacrifice you can see is the body of Jesus? That's all you see? My friend, you missed it. You missed it big, like so big. His body was the sacrificial lamb. Yes, 100%. But it was his soul that was offered, my friend. His soul was offered, and the Bible even says it. God is a spirit, soul, and a body. That's what he is. And when people don't understand that, they keep fighting for Father, Son, Holy Ghost. You're missing the bigger picture. Obviously, there's a Father. Obviously, there's a Son. Obviously, there's a Spirit. Obviously, man, dude, obviously, it's there. It's there, but it's given to us this way so we can understand what God is trying to tell us. But it's given to us. But the revelation of what God is who we are. Don't you understand? That's the revelation. God made us a spirit, soul, and a body. That's how he made us. You know why? Because we were made in his image and in his likeness. God made us the way he is. It's so profound when people say, no, he made us different. That's funny because it says that he made us in his image and in his likeness. That's how he made us, guys, because he is a spirit, soul, and a body. He is. And that's how he made us. But we came through the first Adam. That's why we had to be born again. Born, guys, birthed. We had to be birthed again. So through the last Adam, right? This Adam was formed from the dust of the ground, from the good ground, from Eden, God's heart. There's only two Adams that were created directly from God's heart. It was the first Adam and Jesus. That's it. So you either have the penalty of the disobedient Adam, or you have the inheritance through the second born. And the entire Bible talks about the crossing of the hands, the second born, Jacob and Esau, over and over. Manasseh and Ephraim, Isaac, Ishmael, over and over. You hear the second born becoming the firstborn, over and over, man. Joseph and Benjamin, there. The crossing of the hands. That which is first is last. That which is last becomes first. Christ is the firstborn over the first Adam. Over and over, my friend. Your physical body was born first, and then you became born again. And the spiritual you is the second born, and we are now co-heirs with Christ. You have to understand the importance of seeing Jesus in the Old Testament. It helps you grow. I don't know what fool doesn't want to grow. That's a fool. Someone who doesn't want to grow. So Samson says, this is 30, Judges 16:30. And Samson said, let my soul die with the Philistines. And he bowed himself with all his might. That's funny. The Bible says, not by your might or your strength, but by mine. Do we got to go over all the verses that talk about not by your might, your battles, your strength? You're not saved because of your works, my friend. And I'm talking about works of the law, how good you are, those kind of works. You're not saved because you're so good. No. This tells us a different way. That we're saved because of what Christ did for us. That's why he bowed down with all his might for our sake. And we see it in the story of Samson right here. A shadow, an allegorical truth, if you will, a parable. And he bowed himself. This is Judges 16:30. And he bowed himself with all his might, and the house fell upon the lords. Remember, they were in an upper room. They were up where Eglon was. Shouldn't have been. Where the man Elijah had a room, upper room made for him because it was talking about his authority, his position. Right? Where Rahab hid the spies in the upper room. And upon all the people that were therein, this is everything fell down. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. So even though Jesus walked this world while he was alive, in his defeats of Satan, you got to understand, Jesus, when he walked this world, you got to understand this, he was not omnipresent, guys. He was one man going and defeating Satan. All he was doing, dude, was walking around going to defeat Satan or coming back from defeating Satan. That's all he did, but he was one man. That's why it says, so the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. And he said, I will send a comforter. It's better for you. that I send a comforter. And now the Spirit has been poured upon all of us, and he has killed more in his death than he did when he walked. And that's because the Bible tells us that we bring down people's thoughts, we take them captive, and we bring them to the obedience of Christ, right? Subject to Christ, taking those thoughts captive and bringing them into obedience by spreading the word, by taking the sword and stabbing the belly, just like Ehud did with his left hand. We're all spiritually left-handed, if you didn't know. Why do you think most men are right-handed? We're really good at doing the opposite of God, aren't we? And Samson said, let me die upon the people death. Okay, so 1630. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than they which he slew in his life. Then his brethren and all of the house of his father came down, took him, brought him up, and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the burying place of Manoah his father. And he judged Israel for 20 years. So picturing Samson pushing down these pillars with his right hand and his left hand. Guys, the Bible makes it clear that when Jesus died, he died among sinners. The Bible makes it clear. And Samson said, let me die. Let my soul die with these Philistines. That's exactly what Jesus did. He died with sinners. Same thing. But let me tell you what the pillars, the judgment and righteousness. Guys, sin was punished and judged through the death of Jesus, the left hand. Do you understand? God turned his back on Jesus, guys. He became the punished. It was him. He became the punished. But you also have to remember that Jesus is the right arm of God. So while the punishment of sin fell upon Jesus, we became resurrected with life because of his right hand. You have to understand what God is saying here with the death of Samson. That in that same day, your sin was punished, but you were brought to life with the right hand at the same time. It's amazing. It's a complete miracle. And to not see this and to not have it laid out in front of you like the most miraculous thing that you've ever seen. Now, I understand if it's it may be hard to see at first, but if it's true. So when people say things, well, okay, well, are you a better person because of it? Instead of wasting time talking about that, did Jesus put that in there? Yes, then it's worth looking at. Don't waste your time with foolish arguments. Oh, are you a better person? So how has that helped you today? Yeah, oh my God, how is that? Bro, the Bible says that those kind of things, what we're going over right now, is the hidden mysteries of God, 1, and 2, it's the wisdom of God. Only a fool says that it's foolish, meaning, well, it's foolish. That's what they're saying. Benny and a few of you guys were on a live the other day, man, talking about Christ. I wasn't even there 3 minutes, and somebody comes, oh, well, does that make you a better person? And I mean, after about a minute, they're like, well, brother, like, what are you talking about? Like, bro, this is about God and Jesus. This is amazing. Yeah, but it make you a better person. Within 3 minutes, they start talking about the law. It never fails. If you are not discerning, a very carnal-minded, descaled-eyed person, if you can't discern that, your conversation's about to go left. It'll happen. It's going to happen every time. Don't be surprised. Be ready for it. And when it is, you say, hey, brother, we're going to continue to edify. I understand you don't see it. Oh, so you're better because you're allowing them to manipulate to keep this argument going, you fall for them before you know it. It's been an hour because you've allowed this person to manipulate you. Oh, so you're smart. You're the only one that could see it. And you're like, oh, shoot, I got to defend myself. Hey, man, I'm not the only one who can see it. There's a lot of people. You're wasting your time. Oh, so you're the only one who can see it. Hey, brother, we were talking about Jesus. We were edifying, and you came up here talking about the law. Hey, I'm sure there's 20 lives that would love to argue with you. No, I ain't trying to argue. Okay, fine. Maybe you're not, but we're going to continue to edify. You can stay up here, but please don't interrupt us. No offense, but we're going to continue to edify about Jesus. That's how you handle that. You don't sit there and try to defend yourself and defend and then all. No. Now, if you want to join a live where that's all they do, then fine. Then, that's your funeral, right? Go right ahead. But when you're in edification mode, don't allow such nonsense to stop it. But with all that being said, there's always going to be someone that can't see it, and that's okay. There ain't no reason to argue about it. But I'm telling you, when you can see it, the way that Jesus authored this whole thing out, you will see the wisdom of God. You'll see it. And it'll literally put the fear of the Lord in you. And I'm not talking about the fear of the Lord like you being scared. That's not what fear of the Lord is talking about. It's talking about reverence. Like you're looking at him like, wow. Like, wow, bro. Not only are they real, but you are able to put yourself in that story like that. Wow. That's the wisdom of God. That's what the fear of the Lord is to be in awe and say, man, you are awesome. Wow. That's amazing. So, well, I guess we finally finished Samson. Took about a whole week and a day or so, but there's about 10 minutes
Trot, I was going to
left.
add one
Anybody
more
on the
thing
panel
too.
got something to say? Yeah.
Yeah. So what's also really cool is, when Christ was on the cross, and you're looking at the pillars, you look at the two men that died side by side, and on his right, he humbled himself, and grace and righteousness, on the right hand side, and on the left hand side, he basically cursed him, which gains judgment, So I don't know. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, bro, this stuff don't stop, bro. Trust me. Jesus puts so many stickers, symbols, notes, notes on a guitar, or notes on a lyre, or notes on a harp. There's so many that are there that you have to constantly keep lying to yourself that this stuff is not real. It is 100% real. It is the amazing part of God. It goes beyond man's comprehension, man's wisdom, and it literally takes Jesus himself, who is faith, to see this. Without Jesus, you cannot see this. You cannot use your carnal mind. You can go to school all you want, okay? And I'm talking about formal school. Jesus never went to a formal school the way you would claim, not the way you would claim. No. Was Jesus taught things? He had to have been, because he was a man. The Bible tells us that he learned every day. Jesus was not born and spoke as a baby, like the Quran says. Says that he spoke as a baby. No, my friend. No. That goes against all of God's rules, all of his laws. When it comes to him becoming a sacrifice, he had to learn the same way we had to learn, buddy. Sorry to pop your bubble, but that is a lie. 100% lie. Does anybody else got something to say?
Real quick.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, hold on, Steph. Before we get into Halloween, does anybody got anything to say about Samson real quick before we hop into Halloween? Anybody?
No, sir.
Going once, going twice? Nope. All right, well, hopefully, that sheds some light on Samson. I'm hoping y'all, got a lot out of that. I know I did when I first really dug in. When I first really dug into the story of Samson, as a descaled person, going through there, man, descaled, it's like a kid in a candy store, man. I mean, there's just so much in there. I mean, I could have made that thing 2-3 weeks longer, I'm going to have to study random guy. Hey, well, random guy in the next random guy, if you haven't, the YouTube channel is right there on the screen at Descaled Live. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, guys, go subscribe. Hit the bell. If you don't know what notification bell is, guys, when you hit that, it lets you know whenever another video is uploaded. Okay, and if it's something that you're like, I'm not sure if I should, listen to that one. Okay, fine. You might want to listen to the next one. So random guy here this week, guys, I'm pretty much caught up with uploading all the videos. I'm on Job, which was the week before last, and Samson was really last week. We just finished it today. But this week, all of Job's, I think it's part 1 through 5 and Samson part 1 through 5 or something, they're all going to be uploaded this week. So random guy, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, go to the YouTube channel at Descaled Live, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way, whenever you see me uploading the whole story, the whole thing of Job and the whole series, and the series of Samson, you can just listen to it there. I hope that helps a little bit. I'll go do that right now. Absolutely, you should, man. 100%. Guys, if nobody's got anything to say, hold on. Descaled Live. No, at. You got to put the at symbol in there. At Descaled Live. That at symbol's got to be in there, just like it is on the picture. There's an at symbol right in front of Descaled Live. Yeah,
are you talking about Hollow Z?
Yeah, so Steph, she wanted to be like a zombie or a witch or something, and she just wants to know, is it okay? Lord. And
No.
Yeah, I know. All right. No, Steph, what's up? What's on your mind with Halloween? Send it.
Anna live, and she's preaching brimfire or hell and brimfire if you celebrate Halloween. If you let your kids, it's the devil's day, and I personally don't think the devil gets a day. I think it's a time that you can go out in your neighborhood and witness to your neighbors and speak about Jesus, and it doesn't have to be about evil things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just talk about it for a little bit, right? So, I know we've kind of went over Christmas a little bit. Guys, it's always best to start with truth, and then from there, right? From there, kind of take it one day at a time. The truth is, when you go to Jeremiah and it's talking about, and trust me, I'm getting to Halloween. I just want to go over something. You go to Jeremiah and it says, don't be like the heathen that goes into the woods and cutteth down a tree, and then, he takes it, and it talks about how this man is like an expert. He's a cunning man of cutting down trees, and then they decorate it in gold and silver. Listen, let me tell you something. Don't allow your physical daggone God to override your spiritual one, okay? Don't be dumb. No, that's talking about a darn Christmas tree. I mean, I don't know how dumb you have to be and still be able to breathe to not see that's what that is. What you have people that don't want it to be true. And they're like, no, it's not the same. Listen, guys, listen. All of us were Gentiles, guys. Don't you understand? Our ancestors were complete heathens. You're going to sit here and tell me that tree that's decorated in gold, it's just a coincidence that we decorate ours in gold and silver. Don't do that to yourself. Stop. Look, let's be honest, okay? Yes, I understand that they, when you go look up the history of the, I'm not talking about the Christmas tree. I'm talking about the heathen, the pagan, how they would take a tree and they would shape it into all kinds of things, man. They would shape it into animals. They would shape it into humans. They literally like we take, for instance, let's say you have a car that you've had for a minute and you take it to a body shop and you're like, I want this thing painted with like the most beautiful, shiny black paint that you have. And they're like, all right, man, well, this one's expensive because it's like extremely black. It's going to be 10 grand. You're like, oh my Lord, 10 grand just to paint this car. Guys, they would take their tree to guys like this. There'd be tree shops. Okay. And these guys were masters at making your tree look like whatever you want it to look like, okay? Just like we take animals to a taxidermist and you can make that animal look like it's flying in the air. You can do all kinds of things. Let's make it very clear. These guys were making these trees basically look like anything other than a tree, okay? Okay? But they would put it in their house. Come on, guys. They would decorate it with gold and silver. The only thing that happened is when pagans got saved, they knew, oh, wait a minute. So the thing I was creating or paying that man, that's not God? Oh, so this is God. Okay, so now they're at a crossroads, okay? It's real simple. This is not hard. They got saved, guys. But the tradition, don't you understand? Some of these people were 40, 50 years old when they got saved. Every year for 50 into the woods cutting a tree down. All they did is they kept the same practice. They went and cut a tree down, but instead of making it look like something else, they just stuck it in their house and they go, hey, you know what? We're going to use this tradition. Okay? We're going to use this tradition to celebrate our God now. But they still kept their tradition. Don't be fooled. Come on, man. Wake up. Come on. Lord have mercy. It's the same thing. You don't have to bring an expert to mess. They're decorating it in gold and silver, guys. Come on, man. Wake up. We didn't create something new. So now you're going to tell me in the Bible it says, okay, guys, when you get saved, go cut a tree down, stick it in your house, and we're going to decorate it with gold and silver. That's not a Christian thing. Wake up. That ain't got nothing to do with Christ. Are you serious? It's a pagan holiday, pagan tradition, okay, that they took and they just used it for Jesus. First off, that is better than what they were doing. Period. All right? Period. It is way better to at least say, hey, I'm going to have a fun time with my family. We're going to put a tree in here and, we're going to celebrate Jesus's birth. Utilizing this thing. Well, because of where it came from, because of where the tradition comes from, it's ridiculous. This is where you got to be honest with yourself. It's ridiculous putting a tree in your house and decorating it. What does that got to do with Christ? Let me see. Someone tell me, does that have anything to do with Christ?
No.
Hello. Okay, all right. So there's the truth, right? Is that the truth?
Yeah.
Guys, is that the truth? Okay. You want to start with truth first. Now, let me ask you this. Because of our tradition that we're going to do this, are you going to hell because you put a stupid tree up in your room? Somebody else answer that. Are you going to go to hell because you put a tree?
You're not going.
You're not going to go to hell, man.
You're not
okay, so let's start. Let's start. Well, no, Bill, the worst thing you could do is explain. Here's another thing. Don't explain yourself, guys. Don't do that. Don't say, but you're not going to go to hell because we're not worshiping a tree. Don't do that, because all you're doing is giving them fuel for the fire. Don't even explain yourself. Just stand on the facts. You already know you're not worshiping the tree. You know that. Okay? But let me tell you this. You could still, not you, but people can still be worshiping their daggone belly. Why? Because they spend $20,000, $30,000 on trees and decorations. See, you're doing something different. It ain't the same as the pagans. But let someone tell you, hey, stop putting that tree up. They'll burn you alive. They'll hang you next to their tree. It goes both ways. I've already let my heifer know how I feel about a tree. I could care less. I don't need no tree. Matter of fact, let me tell you something. My awesome tree that I have, the awesome, beautiful, blameless, perfect tree that I have that has no blemish, that is white, pure as snow, the tree of life needs no decoration from a man. And once you get that revelation, you'll see that being silly. But until then, you just keep putting the dumb thing up. I could care less. God ain't up there falling off his throne because you just can't help but put up your darn you can't help but put up your darn tree. Okay? But my wife, okay, she asked, "Hey, what do you think about putting a tree?" You know what I told? Does anyone can guess? Can anyone guess what I probably told my wife when she said, "Hey, you think I huh?"
You don't care.
Yeah, you said
Get a
yes.
I don't
small one.
care.
Get a small one. That way you can reach the top.
That's right.
You said put the darn thing
I
up.
told her, I said, make sure that sucker's like 3 foot tall. I said, I ain't got
Yes,
time to
bro.
be bringing the tall man to put the star on top. But I told her, I said, I don't care. You put up a dumb tree if you want. I don't care. I don't care. But of course, I'm going to ask her, I'm like, hey, babe, you don't worship the tree. No, of course not. Now I'm playing. I know she doesn't. Then I just said, okay, then I don't care. Put the stupid thing up. I don't care.
Right.
That tree is not gonna make me unclean. Or I'm not gonna go touch that tree and bring it to life. It doesn't work that way, man. It's just a tree.
Stop for the month.
Motive matters. Motive matters. Okay, Deanna said no Christmas here. Guys, everybody, if you want to do Christmas, if you want to have it's all on you, right? But you're not supposed to condemn others because they don't want to eat pork. You don't condemn others because they do eat pork. You don't condemn others because they put up a stupid tree, and you don't condemn others if they don't. It's not hard. This stuff's not hard. Let the religion go. Let the religion go, man. Let it go. Now, with all that being said, now here comes Halloween. Okay, so let's talk about Halloween. And I'm not talking about splitting hairs, guys. I don't care if you looked up the Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic. I don't care. I don't care how to pronounce the Halloween, Holo of the Ween. I don't care. We're going to call it Halloween because we speak freaking English. Okay, so Halloween, guys, let's make it one sentence. What is the purpose of Halloween? Just one sentence. Not a
To
paragraph.
celebrate Satan.
Not a whole story. Oh, celebrate the dead. To celebrate the dead. Okay. All right. Is our God dead or is he alive?
He conquered death.
He's alive. Okay. So if our God is alive, what do we have to do with celebrating dead? Somebody, please fill me in.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Okay. So let's start off with truth. Let's start off with what is true, not your feelings, your bed. Okay? Not your traditions. No. Let's start with what is true. Are you serious? Where'd Steph go? Steph's the one that came up here to talk about this, and she's out.
She ran, bro. She knew where you were about to go with it.
She knew where I was going. That's how it is, Steph.
Be a witch
She sure
zombie,
did hop
and
out.
I'm gonna.
She said, I'm going to be a witch. I don't care what Trump got to say.
I don't care what he says. All right, well, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about Halloween, and I'm gonna tell her she's gonna have to go listen to it because we ain't gonna talk about it again on the live. Oh, here it is. Is her right here? She's gonna come up here and pull my ear. No, that's not her. Who is that? Who are these people?
That's
all right,
bro.
So
Steph is not in the box. She left.
Yeah, that's he just changed his picture. All right, either way, let's just finish it out real quick. So Halloween, guys, it's celebrating the dead. That's what it is, okay? And I don't care if your family turned it into something else. Listen, I'm just saying from the basic of the basics, Halloween's about celebrating the dead. That's what it's about. And our God is alive. He's not dead. Okay, so we have nothing to do with celebrating the dead. Nothing. Now, let's bring it back. That's the facts. That's the truth. Let's bring it back. Let's say on this day, that your kids go to school, obviously, and and they come home and they're crying because they don't get to play Halloween, right? Because you have so religiosity everything in their life that they feel like that they're living in a freaking like closet. Guys, listen, this is so not hard. Oh my Lord. Look, you do whatever you want, but it would be best when it comes to when it's Halloween. Tell your kids the truth, okay? Tell them the truth. Then you ask people, is it okay to lie to your kids? They're like, no. What about Christmas? Oh, well, that's different. No. It's either okay to lie to them or it's not. It's either okay to lie to them or it's not. If it's not okay, then don't lie. Tell them the truth. Just tell them it's a game. Listen. I played the game when I was little. I'm telling you, I don't remember the exact age, but I want to say I was probably 7 or 8, maybe 9. Oh yeah, there's all of them: Tooth Fairy, Easter, just every one of them. But the point is, every. I remember when I was about 8 or 9, somewhere right there, dude. I already knew Santa Claus wasn't real. I mean, you can call me a smart kid at that age if you want to. I didn't have to have anyone come up to me and tell me that Santa wasn't real. I knew. To me, it was like a game anyway. But my parents told me that he was real. They didn't say, well, let me tell you. No, I knew, man. I knew deep down. I don't know how I knew. Intuition, you call it whatever you want, okay? But I'm telling you right now, now and some weird way I knew not to tell other kids. I don't know how I knew, but it's like I didn't want to maybe, I guess, hurt their feelings. I don't know. I can't recall all the details, but I remember I specifically on purpose did not just go to kids and be like, Santa's fake. Like I just knew not to do that. But I'm telling you, my parents did not tell me, now don't go tell anyone. No, they were pushing that stuff down my throat. Santa's coming. Woo! You know why I was excited? Because I knew I was getting Bubba. Bubba, I was about to get the baddest He-Man, the baddest Ninja Turtle ever that year because I played this goofy game. So it's okay to tell your kids these are games. Just tell them the truth. This is a game. Now, when it comes to Halloween, you don't say it's a game and we should dress up like demons. No. Tell them it's a game. Everybody plays this game differently. But in our family, we don't act like we're dead. So y'all going to have to pick a different character. So if they want to dress up like a certain character, fine. Guys, it's no different than playing a video game. I'm sorry. What do you say? Trot, that's blasphemy, bro. Satan. Oh, Santa is real. Cries for the love. Yeah. Oh, well, so, telling your kid, look, let me show you something. If I play Mario, the video game, okay? Let's say it's Mario Kart. Am I not acting like a character? God, it's the same thing. I'm not really Mario in the game. I'm just controlling his little butt. But in that particular moment, I am Mario. I'm not Donkey Kong. I'm not Luigi. Someone else is. And I'm Mario. So if I dress like him physically, God, it's no different than playing a video game. People turn this into such a big deal. Look, it's just a game. Okay? It would be best for you if you told your kid, guys, what we're doing, it's just a game. That way they can play along with their friends. And let me tell you this, if all their little friends dress up like Dracula and demons, I'm not quite sure if that's the best friends to hang out with. No telling what else their parents are letting their kids do. And don't get me wrong, I don't have kids, but I got nieces and nephews, and all my friends got kids. I'm not ignorant to none of this stuff. I'm not ignorant. People say, well, it's different when it's your own. It may be different to a point, but there are a lot of similarities. A lot. Y'all just want to say that just so you can make yourself believe that person can't speak in your life about kids. What?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's only harder to say no if they're your own kid. That's the only difference.
It ain't much different. All this games, man. Well, if you don't have your own kids, you don't know. Stop the nonsense. Come on. The Bible gives us wisdom. You don't have to have a kid to know everything, bro. You can learn a lot just by watching your nieces and nephews. You don't have to have them all the time. The only thing I don't have is a headache. That's it. That's it. Because they're not there every day to get on my nerves. You know, I know how
Yes.
kids are. You
Sleepless
know, and you know
nights.
it's funny. I used to be one. Do what?
I said, yes, sleepless nights. You don't have those either.
Well, the job that I had in the military, I know exactly what sleepless nights are. I didn't have to have a kid to teach me that.
Right.
So, you know,
Yeah,
getting
it's
three
different
hours
with a
of
kid
sleep.
though, bro. I'm telling you right now, it's different
Here
with
we
a kid
go.
because you
Here we
don't.
go. It's different
I'm
with a
telling
kid.
you,
Here we go.
you can say what you want. You can say
Here we
what you
go.
want, but I'm telling you, it's
Yeah, all
different.
right. Hey, Dre. Let's use
Hey,
wisdom. Let's
listen,
not argue about it. Okay? No, no, no,
after
no,
you
no,
have a
no,
kid,
no.
come holler at me, bro.
All right. Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you what. Like I said, and I'll say it again. Everything's not different the way you're saying it. Not everything, but I'll give you
I
one,
didn't
Dre. Give
say
me one
everything. I
thing.
didn't say
Hold
everything.
on. Let's see if we're in agreement or not, because I guarantee you we are. Let me ask you this. Tell me one thing where you can say, I don't know what I'm talking about. Tell me. Give me one.
Trying to help your wife when she can't lactate and getting the baby to latch on, bro, and watching your wife trying to work this thing out, and you have no
All
idea how
right.
that works either.
Okay. All right. I'm glad you said that, because like I said at the very beginning, it's not everything that I don't know, but I know a lot. So obviously, I don't know nothing about a woman lactating. That ain't got nothing to do with the snot-nosed kid, brat kid that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those kind of things.
You don't
I'm
know
talking about when it
football.
comes to you telling the truth. I'm telling you, when it comes to your kid, you telling your kids about Halloween and Christmas. I'm talking about staying on the realm of telling them the truth. I'm talking
Oh no, I
about
mean,
that.
listen, I
I'm
tell
not
my
talking
kids the
about.
truth, bro. Listen, I'm gonna tell you like this, try, and maybe you don't agree with me or somebody else doesn't agree with me. I really don't mind it. It is what it is. But I'm telling you right now, I never had that problem with my kids, bro. I tell my kids the truth since the day they were born. We never celebrated Halloween. My kids have never gone trick or treating. I don't judge other people that do. I just be like, all right, well, they probably just don't know what they're doing. Maybe one day they'll get it. But to say, oh, I'm gonna go witness on Halloween because it's Halloween, bro, that's like me go witness club because there's strippers that need Jesus. So let me go to the strip club and witness to the strippers in the strip club. It doesn't work that way, bro. So you just kind of leave that alone. That's me
Yeah,
personally. So I don't try to make an excuse for doing
yeah,
it. Put it that way.
yeah, and that's the other side, right? That's why I said as long as we stay in truth, you'll be fine. So, oh, I see Steph's back. Steph, hey, just remember the date, okay? Just remember the date. This will be uploaded this week at some point. Just remember the date. Make sure you are subscribed to YouTube, to Descaled Live, the YouTube channel, and Steph, make sure to hit notification bell, because when I upload this, you can go straight to it and hear the answer. We're not really done, but we're pretty much done talking about the Halloween part. But like I said, your kid can play the game, but they need to understand it's a game. Okay, whatever the game is, Tooth Fairy, all that stuff, bro. You know, and we've talked about it before, and we're probably going to talk about it every year because these things come up every year. No big deal. And everybody's going to handle it different. But the point is, don't point your finger in any direction. If somebody wants to put up a Christmas tree, shut up. It's not hard. It's not hard just to shut your mouth, man. It's not hard. Leave them alone. Just love them anyway, okay? If somebody doesn't want to put one up, you don't try to go make them feel guilty that they're not feeling the spirit of Christmas. It goes both ways. It's the same thing with Halloween, guys. If your kids want to do it and there's like no way around it, just have them dress up like a basketball character or something. Now, if they want to dress up like witches and demons, then somewhere along the way, we've dropped the ball somewhere, okay? Like Dre said, his kids ain't never done that. Listen, everybody, guys, has an understanding a little bit further than someone else. And all of us, we're all in the same boat before we were heathens. You have to understand that everybody was. So you have to ask yourself, well, if we were all heathens, how come they no longer do this? How come those people no longer do that? Go
Well,
ask them. Go
and
ask
try.
them
Let
and
me say
just hear
this.
what they say.
Let,
Yeah,
let,
go ahead.
let me say this, Trot. So the other thing about this, you got to remember, guys, that we are, we change generations. Like our generations are supposed to be better as they come. So the only reason I'm that good is because my mom. I'm not good, but the only reason I don't celebrate Halloween is because my mom taught me from the very beginning. Like we don't do that. We just don't do that. Like period. The end. And that was that question. And then my mom explained it to me, and I understood. And as I grew older, I got it, and I got it, and I got it. But my kids, so when they come around, now it's a third generation of like fourth or fifth generation of Christian, quote unquote. So at this point, it's just like we don't do that. It's just that easy. So it becomes easier as the generations go on. It's just harder. Like if you celebrated Halloween your whole life and your family has, and you're like the first generation Christian, quote unquote, and you're like the
Yeah.
oddball out. It's a little bit harder. I get
Yeah,
it.
bro.
I get it. I get it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. The point Dre's making, I mean, God, it should be a no brainer. If you're the first person to start saying no to this, oh, Bubba, that is hard. But that's why the Bible says that we're supposed to be sacrificed every day. You're supposed to sacrifice the flesh every day. Why? For your kids' sake. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of parents that they still fight for what they want to do. Why? Because, again, guys, we used to live in our belly. Our belly was our God. Don't you understand? It was your belly that likes Halloween. It's your belly that likes Christmas. It has nothing to do with Jesus, period. So it's not about pointing the finger and telling people they're wrong. They're not there yet. They will figure it out. Our job is just to love them anyway, man, while they're figuring it out. But just remember this, whatever you choose to keep doing that your belly God had you doing, whatever you choose to keep doing, your kid is going to do. Understand, your kids watch you. Whatever you do, your kids are going to do.
And you know what,
If
Trot?
you're
There's a
like,
flip
yeah,
side to that
Halloween,
too.
woohoo. Yeah.
Hey, brother, there's a flip side to that too. Like, don't let my like Dion says, don't let my confidence be a stumbling block for you. It's not my fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get mad at me because I don't celebrate Halloween. Because I've had Christians get mad at me, bro. Like, you're
Yeah.
just so religious. No, I'm not religious. I just don't celebrate it. So there's a flip side to that hate to the people that do celebrate and those that don't. They're like, oh, you think you're holier than thou. Hey, brother, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I'll take it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. It goes both ways. You don't tell someone to stop putting up a tree, just like the person that puts up a tree. You don't turn to the other person and try to somehow like manipulate them to put one up. Like, what's wrong with you? I mean, I've had people come up to me. Let me just say this, a lot. It probably happens for sure. I'm not kidding. You can ask my wife. For sure, 100% every month. Every month. Now, there are times it happens more than that, but for sure, every month, somebody is going to assume that I drink beer or liquor. And, I don't. I haven't ever. And they're like, but again, I've slapped people in the back of the head that probably didn't deserve it. So don't get it twisted. This is not about who's better. I'm just saying, when it comes to that, that's just something that I haven't done. Okay. But it surprises people. Just like if you tell someone, oh, no, I don't put up a tree. What? Are you American? That's like telling someone you don't need a hot dog. What? God, we could do this all day to each other. But if somebody is trying to learn to break these traditions, and trying to learn it, guys, give them some freaking air. Let them breathe, man. Back up. Let them figure it out. It's not hard, okay? So Christmas, Halloween, guys, let people figure it out. Stop pointing the finger in either direction. And if someone says, well, you're not doing Halloween right, man. You're not supposed to be a princess for Halloween. You got to be a demon. Roar. God, man, go find a better friend. Go find a better friend. I don't know what else to tell you.
I mean, I celebrate Hanukkah, Trot. Like, that's me. I like Hanukkah. I love Hanukkah. I grew up with it, so I love celebrating Hanukkah. My wife puts up the Christmas tree. I don't like the Christmas tree, but I deal with it. It is what it is. But I'm not a big fan of it. I rather put like in Venezuela we put up a lot of the El Nacimiento. How do you say that again, Bill? I keep forgetting how to say it, bro. The I don't know how to say it in English, bro. It is
Oh,
what it
what?
is. El Nacimiento, bro. How do you say it, Bill? Where's Jessie when I need her, bro? Anyways, yeah, I do the Festival of Lights. That's what I celebrate.
Yeah,
I
let's
do
see. Let me
celebrate a
see.
lot
There's
of
a
the
deal.
Jewish.
It's,
The nativity
they're
scene. Yep, that's it right there, Cornerstone.
yeah, they're a guy. They're a guy 690. It's for the kids. Yeah, fine. Let it be for the kids. That's kind of the whole point. Is tell them the truth what it is. Now, if you're a parent that you're like, nah. The only truth is it's fun. What I'm saying is, when you don't tell the kid the whole truth of what's going on with Halloween, what it is, right, how it originated, then they think it's only fun. And some of these people, and I'm telling you right now, if you don't care if your kid plays with the Ouija board or not, don't tell them nothing. Don't tell them nothing. They'll bring one home. Watch. They'll bring one home. They'll say, oh, well, Dad, it's Halloween. You said it's for the kids. It's for us. We have fun. Halloween. Yay. And then before you know it, boy, you got some weird stuff going on in your house because everything is just fun. And that's fine. And hear me out. That's fine. If you want to deal with those things, deal with it. I'm not going to point my finger. I'm not going to point my finger at you. But if you like those things around, don't invite me to your house because they won't be there when I show up. If you like those things messing with your family, don't invite me over. I'm going to ruin the party.
100%.
Right. So,
Hey, Tron.
it is what it is. But hey, what's up?
Hey, there's a funny video on TikTok somewhere. I can't remember where it's at, but this dad, his daughter did bring home a Ouija board. And they were playing upstairs, and he goes downstairs to the switchboard, and he flickers the lights on and off. And that was the end of that. They threw that thing away, bro.
Hey, don't invite
Kimby,
me. Don't invite me to your cake party because I'm gonna blow everybody's drunkenness. I'm
gonna ruin your drunkenness. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Kimby said we all played with that board in our family and we are fine. Well, I don't know. So you might be. I don't know, but I'll tell you this. Sometimes people can be so familiar with things they think it's normal. So there may be some things that you're calling fine and normal and may not be. So but that's on you.
Kind of the topic. That's kind of the topic I wanted to touch on. Try at our Descaled in January was that kind of thing where there's a lot of stuff that people have brought over from the Old Testament and from other pagan rituals, and they combine it into the New Testament, like prophetic acts, and like tying tongues and stuff like that in the middle of the altar and doing weird stuff like that. I'm like, bro, that is not. I had a big argument with a Christian the other day because he's like, you're supposed to stomp and walk around because God told me. God didn't tell you to do that. So God did not tell you to do that, bro. Your flesh told you to go walk around that building 7 times. God didn't tell you to do that.
Yeah.
You're lying.
Well, not only did God not tell you, he definitely didn't make you do it, so, but yeah, guys, coming up, what month is it? January, right?
January 18, 19, 20, 21.
Yeah. So January 18 to the 21st, Descaled is going to Oklahoma. We're going to hang out with Lael and Benny. We're going to be in the OK, and I think it's going to be an amazing time. We're going to have, I believe it's 4 topics. We're getting the topics together. We'll let you know what day is what topic as soon as we can. So
we should actually
put it on
ask
your calendar.
Right? We should ask and see if they want to. We should ask them to DM you or me to try to get some of the topics. Maybe that'll help too.
Yeah.
See what people are kind of
matter of fact, that's actually a good. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. What Dre just said, I think that's an awesome idea. And let me just say this, guys. If you give us a topic, okay, and your topic doesn't get picked, please do me a favor. Please don't get in your belly about it. That's the only reason why that I wouldn't ask, right? Because someone doesn't get their topic. Let me just say this. We're gonna talk about it as a collective group, okay? Descale's gonna sit back, and it's not that your topic is bad. There ain't going to be first of all, if the topics, most of it, if it's surrounded around the Bible, we're going to talk about it eventually. Okay, so Yes, let's not listen. If you think that you're that kind of person that gets mad if your topic don't get picked, please don't DM me about your topic. Don't do that to
Hey,
yourself.
your
Okay.
topic might get dealt with before January.
It might. It might.
Yeah.
But if there's some topics that y'all think, and I'll tell you right now, if somebody puts once saved, always saved, oneness or Trinity, you can unfollow
Somebody
them
already put it in there,
and
bro.
go to one of
Somebody
those
already put
lives.
it in there.
Oh, I guarantee it. Let me see what Kimby said.
Random
Kimby
guy.
said
Random guy.
of all the things to care about, that isn't one. It was a play once, waste of a game. Oh, Kimby, hey, no, it wasn't pointed at you. I've never met you. I wasn't talking about, you're a bad person if you play the Ouija board. I'm just saying there's better games out there to play. That's all I'm saying. So, Kimby, it's nothing personal. Anytime I see a comment like that, I talk to everybody that's in the room. There's over 60 people in the room, so we're good, man. I'm still in my belly ever since you said Santa isn't real. Who's that? Oh, it's Russell. That's Tiger Woods in the house. What's up, Woods? Russell, what's up, dude? Go waste more time babbling. This is the problem. Go waste more time babbling. I don't know what she means by that. Or he. I'm sorry, Kimby. I can't really see the picture very well. Thinks I took that personally. Wow. Self-centered. Whoa, self-centered. Oh, my Lord have mercy.
I believe Kimby
Okay.
was saying that she plays with it and it doesn't do anything, and she was expressing how she feels like people are making a bigger deal out of the Ouija board than is needed.
I don't know. It's funny. Yeah, well, it's funny, and it's the whole point that we're saying about Halloween and the Christmas tree, right? You tell someone, hey, man, stop putting the Christmas tree. Some of them will fight you for that Christmas tree. I make a comment, hey, Ouija board probably ain't the best thing. And there's someone already wanting to fight me to keep the Ouija board. Like, okay, look, I made it very clear. If that's what you want to do, you go right ahead and do it, so no big deal. What's the point of playing with it? Everybody's got their own. Hold on. But anyhow, so yeah, guys, if y'all want to send some topics to Dre, to myself, or maybe to anybody else that's on a panel, and make it small, right? Like just get to your point in 3 words or 5 words or 1 word. There's no point in having a paragraph. Please don't do that. Don't send a whole paragraph explaining why you want to talk about this topic. Don't do that, okay? Because if everybody does that, I'm not gonna be able to read no topics. Just say, hey, hey, here's some thoughts about some topics that I thought might be interesting, and just put bullet points, and put a topic, or a period and topic or whatever. But with that being said, guys, it is 10:30. We should have been out of here 30 minutes ago. If anybody's got anything to say, say it, or forever hold your peace.
All right, guys. Stop witnessing in the strip club. God bless y'all.
God bless.
God bless.
Is WWE real? No, it is not. Next.
Thank God.
All right, that's it. Okay, guys. All right. Avoiding the birthday cakes. No, we could talk about birthday cake. Trust me, I know all of them like the back of my hand. Praise God, every one of them, even a wish, even the wish. I really appreciate the teaching on Samson and Job. Absolutely, guys. They'll be uploaded this week. So we're out of here. God bless. See you in the morning.
God bless
Peace.
everybody.
God bless.
Hey, and just so y'all know, real quick, if we're having a 2-a-day, okay, it's probably going to be early, like around 4. And again, that's 4 o'clock Central Time. Let's see. I'm going over to get more of you on YouTube. Praise God. Who is that? Teresa? Teresa? Yeah, absolutely. Get on the YouTube and make sure you hit the I'm sorry, I'm trying to do 2-3 things at once. Yeah, make sure you hit that bell so you can get that notification whenever we upload new videos. But what I was going to say was, guys, if we do 2-a-days this week, we might do one today. There's some things that I do have to do, but we might do one today. I will send out some DMs and make sure that everybody's on board. But other than that, God bless. We'll see y'all in the morning.